Welcome, adventurers! You've made it to the Wind Down, the live stream at the end of the Geekverse. It's a chill place to hang out here as the sun sets on another day. We're here to have a little chat, reflect on the day's successes, and prepare for a better tomorrow. So settle in with your favorite beverage this evening.
May I tempt you with a cup of chamomile?
Why, thank you, Dory. I would love a mug of tea this evening, but perhaps you would rather have some coffee, though I do recommend decaf this late in the evening. Or perhaps, maybe a cold brew is more your style.
Oh, no thank you, Dory. A little red wine. For me, I think.
Sounds like an excellent choice, Gandalf. Whatever you want, it's yours. Could I offer you a bourbon, a martini, an old-fashioned, or something perhaps a little stronger? Ugh, well, I mean, if that's really your thing, then okay, but I hope we can find something a bit better than that.
Romulan ale. Why, Bones, you know this is illegal.
I only use it for medicinal purposes.
All right, now we're talking. I'm Heath, and I'll be your host. Welcome to my home. Come one, come all, writers, artists, sculptors, storytellers, board gamers, streamers, dungeon masters, fans of sci-fi, fantasy, geeks of all kinds. Whatever your fandom, you have a place here. For soon it will be time for another long rest so that we can recover our hit points, our spells, and our abilities, so we'll be ready to fight on for another day tomorrow. But first, we all need a little time to reflect. Because you've survived another long, perilous day of wilderness treks, dungeoneering, and random encounters. And that's worth celebrating. Let's tell the tale. It's time for the Wind Down. It will improve your life. It really will. Give it a chance. Here we go. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's so good to see you this evening. Inner Light is here. Very productive day, Inner Light says. Wonderful. So glad to hear it. Mike is here. Mike, good evening, one and all. Good evening, Mike. Mike says that's a fairly productive day, but can always do better. You know, I do like that. Good day, but can do better. I like that. Inner Light saying good day. Got tons of stuff done. Excellent. Excellent. I'm so glad to hear it. Stray, GDs. Good day from Stray. Wonderful. Good evening, everyone. I also had a good day. I got big rocks moved. There were other things to do, but I got them done. You know, can always improve. I'm looking at my time schedule, and it's like, well, gee, maybe I didn't do everything I could have. But I did move the big rocks. And have been thinking about that and things. So I'm so glad that everyone is here. This is wonderful. All right. So first of all, though, we should begin by breathing, right? So let's breathe and we're going to sip. You got your favorite beverage, whatever that is, tea, coffee, decaf, I hope, wine, bourbon, whatever it is you are winding down with. Let's go ahead and breathe and then we'll sip. All deep inhale, complete exhale. And then we will sip here. Very good to me. Very good to me. Thank you, Stray. Thank you. Thank you. Yep, finally knocked some out here. So let's remember why we are here. Our purpose here is to reflect on the day. I hope that you are happy with your day. Seems like we've got a lot of people who are happy with their day today, and that is fantastic. We're going to celebrate our victories. Good things happen to you today. We're going to celebrate. We will all applaud them. If you need to improve for tomorrow, that's okay. We will improve for tomorrow, and we can provide encouragement for improving tomorrow. Although, as it's come up, sometimes you can have a fantastic day, good day today, but also want to improve for tomorrow. That's also possible. Excuse me, I'll be taking questions. So if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. We've got a lot of people here. And as I say, that if we have questions about, for instance, things that require the analysis of probability tables of, for dice across multiple, across multiple roles at the role-playing game table or the tabletop or board gaming table, this may not be the time for those kinds of questions, but I'm happy to take other kinds of questions. Perhaps less analytical questions and more, maybe analytical questions are cerebral, but less analytical and more in another direction. Did you have a random encounter today? something strange happened to you today that you want to tell us about, well, then put it in the chat. We will talk about random encounters that you might have had. So that's why we're here. So GD, people, we're putting GD in the chat. Inner Light says, did you make any headway on the RPG you're making, or are you working on another creative project today? I have still made no headway on RPGs and that kind of stuff. Everything has been consumed by working on these live streams. A lot of work that was done today on my Big Rocks was doing the Christmas giveaway for people who need the Christmas giveaway. So basically, that was what I did today. That was all around there. That's all it was. So I'm still having trouble getting to the core creative activity that I would consider my core creative activity, which is what you're talking about, the stories, the RPGs, things like that. That's what's happening today. But I did get done what I said I was gonna get done in the beginning. So I'll share how my day went. Stray says, first edition bell curve and descending probability. Right. Yes. So like say, let me enable the auxiliary camera. Go auxiliary camera. That's what we need here. Welcome everyone. I'm so glad to see you. So this is the auxiliary camera this evening, and this is what has been going on with me. Like I said, so I mean, I have a lot of work to do on getting my stuff, but what I'm trying to do is I've got to think about what can we do here with this live stream, the other live streams, in order to really get something going here. And so a lot of my, I suppose you could classify a lot of it as the core creative time, working on the live streams, working on the shows. Because I feel like once I get those nailed down, once I get them doing what they're supposed to be doing, and we'll be able to do those shows, then I'll be able to move on to other things. So I'm still short on core creative time here. YouTube, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put another hour here on YouTube. I'm doing YouTube. So Ravenkeep and business administration has been taking a lot of time. That's the way I would categorize the time. Cleaning. Didn't I clean today? I thought I did. But I've been working on cleaning the front gaming hall and the kitchen because we need that. Did go for the walk today, so that's DAR, D-A-R, that's deliberate active recreation. And I'm going to be working on getting us on the deliberate recreation, even if it's not active. I was talking to Heather today about that on the live stream this morning, because we want to be able to have a live stream where we can do arts and crafts, paint our miniatures, do things like that. And I've been working on that. I've been thinking about that. There are several different kinds of live streams, or as I perceive them, shows that we need to pilot. And one of those is definitely a show where we all get together, have a live stream, and just dedicate a certain amount of time, like an hour or an hour and hour and a half, something like that, something manageable, but something where we can all come together and work on painting our miniatures, or work on some kind of cosplay, or whatever kind of craft activity that you are trying to do. We should come together at least once a week and do that all together. And I'm working on that. Maybe there's a kind of a show we could do called like the Crafting Corner or something like that. Need to be every once. Let me know what day would be good for that. What day would be good to have like a craft day where we paint miniatures, or work on our cosplay costumes, or work on our terrain, or whatever kind of craft activity it is, in the Geekverse that we want to do. So we have some type of time. When is that? I'm kind of thinking that maybe that should be on the weekend. Maybe that should take up the Sunday slot. Let me know what you think. But maybe we should do that on Sunday, and then we could also like do that at Sunday at like 6 o'clock p.m. Central. Like, this is just one idea that I had. Maybe that happens at 6 o'clock p.m. Central, and then we do crafting for 90 minutes and like have a discussion panel while we're painting miniatures, and then go right into the Sunday night wind down. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Would that be a good idea? I'm thinking about that. I want to pilot that show. I want to pilot what I was talking about last night, which was independent tonight. People have told me, gee, we need that. Heath, maybe you should produce it. Well, all right. At least I should pilot it so we know what that show might potentially look like. And I should potentially pilot the getting together for arts and crafts as well. There are other things to do as well, but I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about that a lot, getting to what we're thinking about tonight. So that's what my day looked like. So I am still very short on core creative time, but that's because what I'm working on, like I've been working on these live streams. I was working on the giveaway. I got to get these live streams squared away so then we can go and I can go and work on other things. Was I CTA? So remember, there are two options. There's GD. If you're GD, and I've already seen good days in the chat. So GD is good day. So I'm going to put good day in the chat. I thought it was a good day. The other option, if you were not GD, is to be WIT, W-I-T. WIT means that you will improve tomorrow. So those are the only two options that we got. GD or will improve tomorrow, but you can also put them together, right? Sometimes it's the good day, but you still have room for improvement. I guess actually that's how I am. I was GD, good day, but like there's still, I need to be more productive each day. So the first thing is, for our other acronyms, and I need to put together a whole video about our acronyms here. One of our acronyms is CTA. Were you CTA? And that means that you heeded the call to adventure. And the call to adventure is that you got up at the time that you wanted to get up. And you got to working on whatever it was that you want to be working on when you get up in the morning. So that is heeding the call to adventure. When I'm up, and I try in an ideal day, I try to get up at 4:45 in the morning and then be sitting here at my desk by 5 o'clock. Shortly thereafter, I will tweet and also post to the Raven Keep Discord channel that I'm up and I have heeded the call to adventure. If you are also up, you can post to the Discord channel, receive encouragement, or tag me on Twitter or whatever it is that you would like to do. Let me go ahead and put out a link to our Discord server. So if you are here live with us and you would like to be part of the Discord community, there, I just dropped a Discord link in the comments. Please join us. So I was CTA. I heeded the call to adventure today. I was CTA. Now, MBA, check this out. I get to check that one because this morning, MBA, not MBA, MBR. I was MBR. Moved big rocks. MBR. Moved big rocks. And I did. My goal for today, my big rocks, were to adjust the Christmas giveaway form. We are giving. I've got a bunch of stuff in there and on my on a table in my room in there that is of items involved in the Geekverse that I want to give away for Christmas. I want to find good homes to. I can definitely give them to Toys for Tots or some other charity like that as I get closer to Christmas. But my idea was that I would like to be able to give those items to people, part of the community who might, have a little bit of a hard time this Christmas, might need a little bit of help buying Christmas gifts. Because to me, my idea was that there's a group of people who might need some help this Christmas. And that's a group of people who want to be or want to be able to give Christmas gifts to people this Christmas. But for whatever reason, buying Christmas gifts, a little bit difficult this Christmas. Maybe a job was lost. Maybe there was an extra expense with a car or whatever that is. Whatever that is, I've got a bunch of stuff that's completely new sitting out there on the desk that I want to get to people. So if it helps you, then great. Oh, in fact, I think that's what I was trying to export that. Let me export that. I realized I was trying to export that, and then I realized I was late for this live stream. So let me give one of the things I did was shoot this video and edit it and get it ready. Let me export it, and then I'll just play it here. And again, you can tell me if this is ridiculous. Stray's telling me this is a potentially good idea. I want this to. It is a weirder idea because it's helping out the people who, hey, you don't want, if you're embarrassed, there's something like that's going on that you're not going to be able to bring the gifts to Christmas or something like that. Well, then, hey, listen, or if you're like a single mom or a single dad, things are rough. You're worried about getting Christmas gifts for your kids this Christmas. Go shopping on this list. Everything is free, and I also ship it for free. No one has to know we've got an increasing. I did adjust the form today. That was one of my big rocks. So you don't even have to put your email address. Although if you don't put your email address, I can't send you a tracking number. But that may not matter. I want it to be the anonymity to be there if you would prefer for it to be there. So no email address required, no actual name required. You just put what items that you need and what address you would like them sent to, and I will send those items out. So I was working on that today. I got the Christmas form taken care of. I got this video put together. So let me see if I can share that right here. So this is the idea for Christmas. Let me see if I can bring that up. And I put this as part of the morning messages for tomorrow. So let me bring this up. This is what I made today. See what you think about this as far as trying to get some help out there in the Geekverse today. It can be a bring a lot of happiness, but they can also be stressful, especially if time. The holidays can be a lot of fun and bring a lot of happiness, but they can also be stressful, especially if times are tough. So if you or someone you know is having a rough time this Christmas for whatever reason, and you need a little help with Christmas gifts this year, I want to help. If something from the Geekverse would help you out, I've got a spreadsheet, linked below, of a list of items that I've got from the Raven Keep store and also elsewhere that are completely free and that I will also ship completely free. That means that every item on the sheet is available at no cost whatsoever. Everything is new in the box, so look over the items, and if there's anything that would help you out, submit what you need on the Google form. That is also linked below. Your name or email address is not required. No one's going to know that you put in if you're worried about that. I will then ship the items absolutely free with no questions asked to whatever address you put in, though I can only ship to the United States at this time. Or hey, if your church, your mosque, your synagogue, or any other kind of social group, whatever you've got, is helping out a family in need this holiday season, and some of these items would be helpful in what you're trying to do, let me know, put them in, and I will send them out so that you can get them to the people who need it. Any items that are left closer to Christmas, I'm going to donate to charity to make sure they all get to people who need them this Christmas. But I want to make sure that anyone in our community or connected to our community who needs some help can get that first. So this is entirely on the honor system. I'm not checking up on anyone. As I said, I will ship all of these items out free, no questions asked. All you have to do is put in for them if you need them. So let's help out those who need it in the Geekverse this Christmas and help make this holiday season one that's happy and also stress-free. So that's the message. I'm going to put in the chat right now a link to that spreadsheet, and then there's a link to the form on that sheet. So if you need some help, or you know somebody needs some help, just go to that spreadsheet. I will ship out Christmas stuff to you, no problem. And if we get to a certain point and I have extra stuff, then I will take them to like Toys for Tots and things like that. But I thought that people in our community or people who are connected with our community, if we can alleviate some stress this holiday season, we should definitely do that. So I took care of, when we're over here, I took care of getting the Christmas form together, all the inventory taken care of. That was one of my big rocks. I shot that video, I got it all edited, and then I also updated the morning messages. So that message will be in our morning message tomorrow during the morning grind. So that will be in there. That was basically what I got taken care of today. And then I didn't quite get all of the, I was going to move on to try to get clips from the wind down posted. My plan is I think I want to post about 5 clips from the wind down on the channel, and then also go ahead and schedule like a daily clip or something like that. And then also I've got an announcement about this giveaway, Christmas assistance, whatever you call it, to go out to the Discord server. And I wrote that, but I didn't actually get to post it yet. So let me go ahead. Also, by the way, let me just say that if you are here with us live and you would like to be part of our Discord server, then you are welcome. I would love to have you. I'm going to copy the link right here, and I'm going to drop that in the chat as well. So you're welcome to join the Discord server. I'm trying to make it a positive and constructive place for everyone in the Geekverse. So, was I alcohol free? I was alcohol free. So I'm going to check that. Was I WF? Oh, let me check my watch rings. I was, but I'm going to prove it to you right here. Right here. So also I hit my watch rings. So this was a good day. This was a very good day as far as all of that goes. I'm not getting to my core creative activity, but I'm not beating myself up about that because I'm working on creating the web shows, including this one, the one in the morning, things like that. So once we get all that stabilized, I'm working on getting that stabilized. Once that's stabilized, I'll be able to do some more things. Cleaning. I thought I cleaned today, but I don't have the check boxes here. So that's how I was. Hopefully something equally good is going. There we go. Here we go. So, okay, let's look at the comments here because I see some's coming in. Stray was CTA. He did the call to action. AF was alcohol free. You might also be going SF. That's smoke free. You know, whatever's your way. I'm trying to lose weight, and so I have personally found that it's very difficult to lose weight when drinking alcohol. So I've been trying to cut back on or out alcohol in order to lose the weight. That's what I've been personally trying to do. It's working for me. So, but you may be alcohol free or smoke free for different reasons, or that might not be something that concerns you. Everybody's taking the things that they are trying to work on, and we're all celebrating together. And Stray was MBR, moved big rocks. Congratulations. Excellent, Stray. Excellent. Matt says this is early. Are we early? I don't think we're early. 7:30. I think we're right. All right. So what else here? Let me look at this. What have I been thinking about? Stray says even closed my rings today. Excellent. Even closed my rings. So Stray is also WR. Excellent. I mean, doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good when you make the day do what you want it to do? It does for me. And that's so important. Like the kinds of things that bring you joy and add joy to your life. These are big things. And, you know, it's not that you're where you want to be. I think Inner Light asked me, like, what weight was I trying to get to? And for me personally, it wasn't about a certain weight goal. It's about how you feel, what you're supposed to do. I was at 182 this morning. See, I was at like 192 or something like that when I started this a few days, 4 weeks ago. I don't know what it was. I feel so much better, but I'm thinking that maybe I should try to lose weight to about 175, then reevaluate, and then maybe I need to gain weight after that. I don't know. So we'll just see. We're just saying whatever your goals are, whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, wherever you are trying to go, you adopt the processes. We can help you here, hold each other accountable to go wherever we need to go. That's no problem. So, like I said, I'm taking questions. So if you have questions, we can talk about those. Happy to talk about those. I don't know how long we'll go tonight, but if you have questions, I'll be happy to talk about those. What have I been thinking about? I didn't quite get everything ready on the what have I been thinking about front. Where are my notes? So the giveaway occupied a large amount of my time and a lot of my thoughts. I think there's something there. For a way to help people, especially since we've increased the amount of anonymity in there. So I thought a lot about that. And just the idea that, who knows how this would grow or whatever, but some kind of an idea about, a free store. So that if you're having trouble, that if you're stressed out because you need gifts for Christmas, that there's a place you can go to alleviate that stress. So I think it's kind of helping a group of people that I think aren't always thought about. Because we think about people who, if we're talking about giving to a charity to send it to kids, but there are also people who are stressed out because maybe they lost a job, Maybe there was an unexpected car expense. Maybe there was an unexpected home expense. There could be any reason in this world why someone might, want to be able to purchase gifts for whoever this Christmas season and be kind of feeling stressed out because that's kind of rough on them. And then I figure if we help that kind of person out, then you also get the gift. Now, see, that could be a whole family in need. I mean, it's broad. To me, that's broad, right? Because, it could be single mom, single dad, whoever is kind of, in a kind of a difficult situation this Christmas. Well, then, hey, just go over there, pick up some stuff. I'll send it to you. You'll have Christmas gifts for the kids tonight. This Christmas, you're taken care of. No problem. Next Christmas, who knows? Probably be in a better situation. Then you pay it forward, right? Right? So don't be, I want to make sure that, if people, I think that is the weakness of this idea, because if there is somebody out there who needs some help, but they don't want to admit that they need help, that could be a problem. But we need to kind of get over that hurdle. But I can get over that hurdle by trying to increase the amount of anonymity there, so you don't have to put your Discord handle or your email address. So I improved that over the last days. So I appreciate the suggestions there. And then, hey, if you need help, let's help you out, right? And then next Christmas, you can help somebody else out. That's what I'm thinking. So I've been thinking about that a lot. Oh, wait. My arms want to unionize, Stray said. So this is exercise here? That may happen to me, because I'm kind of thinking that, one of the problems that I've had for many, many years is a problem they call Kermit the Frog arms. And, when I'm too heavy, so I want to decrease some weight. But then, I need to, the next thing I might want to do as body modification or whatever is try to fix the Kermit the Frog arm problems that I have here. So maybe it'll be time to fix that, and then my arms will want to unionize against that. Matt says, I sent my wife to hotel 2 days again so I can program my name. I was wondering, I saw that again, that came up when I was looking at different clips and things like that from the wind down. How did that go? That Matt sent his wife to a hotel so that he could work on programming his game. So my stress is 2 hours. I like this. So I sent my wife for 2 days again to a hotel so I can program my game. So my stress is 2 hours away in a hot tub right now. I love this, Matt, because, some people might decide that, I need to program my game. So I'm going to go to a hotel. But I like that you send your wife to the hotel. And so she's hanging out in a hot tub while you are programming your game. I've got to know how this goes, how this ends up. Obviously, she's okay with it. Maybe this is fantastic that if your wife is like you're going to send me to a hotel to go hang out in a hot tub for, the weekend. Does she love it? This is fantastic. I think this is a great idea, because I think I would have perceived it in the other direction. I got to go to this hotel because I can program. So I want to know more about this, and we want to share that in the Discord server. If you're looking for feedback and things like that, I've got to see what you produce as the result of this. This sounds great. And Matt says it works well. She feels like it's a spa day for her. Well, I mean, yeah, that seems like what it would be. Listen, I'm going to send you for a spa day or a spa weekend. You go to the hotel, you hang out in the hot tub, get your massages, go to the exercise room, whatever it is that you want to do. I'm going to program my game. So we want to be supportive of the game here. I leave, she would just feel left. Oh, okay. All right. What works for you? Yeah, if I leave, she would feel left out. Okay, well, all right. That's a great point. And who knows? That could work for somebody else out there who is trying to get stuff done. I like that idea. See, I don't have to deal with that with wife or girlfriend or something like that. But this seems like a fantastic way to do it, Matt. You may be onto something. You may be onto something because that's great. But yeah, you don't want her to feel left out or there's something's going on. So you send her away to do something cool, and you work on programming your game. I like that. I like that idea. Stray says Kermit arms. I like that. Yeah, that's been my problem for many, many years. Kermit the Frog arms, yeah, they just flop around, so who knows? But it's very difficult to both, or impossible, whatever. You read these things that, like, you're trying to do body composite. Can you turn fat into muscle? You really can't. You got to do those two things kind of separately. So that's why my thought is, for me personally, lose weight. Okay. And maybe even lose a little bit more weight than I should, go ahead and go down a little bit low. But then go, okay, then after that, got to gain weight. We'll come up with a strategy for gaining weight for me that I will apply. And you guys are helping me because you're holding me accountable, right? Because that was one of my problems, that I was like, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, before I was live streaming, I was like, well, I should lose, I need to lose weight. I need to lose weight. But it's different from it's very different to say, I need to lose weight or I should lose weight, and saying I'm going to. Those are very different things, right? Because lots of people will be like, I need to lose some weight, or I need to gain weight. Like we talked about that too. There are other people out there who need to gain weight. This is not what we're doing here. It's not anything about anything specific to gaining or losing or any specific body modification. It's all about how you feel and how you want your body to be. And if it's not how you want it to be, then what kind of system can you implement to get to where you want it to be? Remember? But 4 or 5 months ago, I was like, I need to lose weight. I should weight, but nobody cared. But now that I have you guys here on the live streams and things like that, well, now you guys are holding me accountable. So I want to get to, and that was my thought. There's like, well, there's getting up in the morning to do the morning grind, being here in the evening to do the wind down. I'm putting out publicly that I need to lose weight. So my goal, I think my target is to go to 175. I've been much lower than that in adult life when I was like trying to really control things. So, I'm going to go down into a certain point and then reevaluate. So right now my goal is 175, and then evaluate, see how I feel, because that's the most important. How do I feel? And then maybe I need to gain weight. I've been as low as 155 in adult life. But as I've mentioned on other live streams before, people are actually looking at me weird and going like, you look emaciated. Are you okay? So I 155 for me is probably too much. But so my goal at the moment is 175, and then see how I feel, which is most important, and then what I look like, and then see what I need to do from there. So I still want to be in the weight loss, but I'm kind of encouraged about this to go like, I need to go ahead and get there as fast as I can, because then there may be some other thing I want to do to gain. Because to me personally, how much I weigh is not a big deal. It's all about how I feel, how I look. But at the moment, might need to lose some weight. Andrew says, at least for me, easier to make changes when you're younger, and you will never be younger than you are right now. Well, that's true. That's true. Yep. Easier to make changes when you're younger. You will never be younger than you are right now. I'm glad you're here, Andrew, because I was going to mention something. I had a story about you, and I don't know if I've told this or not. I might have, when I was talking about earlier live streaming, because this whole idea, and there's been all kinds of ideas flowing since I've started this live streaming. But, Andrew was actually here with me on, I believe, he might have been here with me on the first day I ever tried live streaming, but I know he was here on the second day that I tried live streaming, because that was like 6 months ago. And that was when I was like, all right, I'm going to live stream by myself. And then it didn't go very well. And so I was like, okay, let me try doing table talk and live streaming with another person, and then doing general geekdom and live streaming with a group. But I do remember the second time I had ever gone live, I put out, hey, I'm going live. And then I was like, all right, now what do I talk about? I didn't understand what to talk about, because you also have to understand that from my perspective, this is still a bit weird. Because even though I see, okay, we got 10 people watching here. A moment ago, I saw we actually had 19 people watching. 19 people is the at the moment on all these live streams is the record number of concurrent viewers that we've ever had. So actually, I was looking tonight for whatever reason, we actually tied our current record concurrent viewership for at least a few seconds or a couple minutes or whatever. I was seeing 19. So for whatever reason tonight, we've actually done that. But you have to understand, this is also kind of strange for me, because even though I see that there are like 9, right now there are 9 people watching, I'm still just sitting here alone in my office, right? And then seeing people's text comments go by and things like this. So I don't know if you've ever tried live streaming, but if you haven't ever tried it, especially by yourself, like if you're just going to sit here by yourself and do a live stream, it's kind of bizarre. And so I didn't know what to do. Like I had no idea. I had no ideas about like a single person live stream. So I tried that twice about 6 months ago, and I had the live stream going on, the schedule, the second live stream I did. And I was like, all right, here we go. And I started talking about stuff. Live stream starts, and I'm talking about stuff. I'm talking about updates on projects. I'm like, whatever I can think to talk about, And I was just talking, like, again, about whatever I can think about. And then Andrew was the first person to comment, on that stream. And I had been talking for about 40 minutes straight. So that's when I was like, okay, you know what? There's probably gonna be nobody here, but I'm gonna try this out. So I was talking, and then Andrew, you put in a comment, and the comment was, is this still going to happen? And I saw that comment come up, and I thought you were talking about the project that I was describing, which is probably some board game or the action figures or something like that. And I saw that comment come up, and that was the first one that I had gotten in like 40 minutes of me sitting here talking about stuff. And I was like, no, Andrew, it definitely is, like the status of the action figures or something like that. And then like 15 minutes after that, I realized that I hadn't actually pressed the button to go live. So I thought I was live, and Andrew, you were asking, like, is this live stream going to happen? Like, that's the question you were asking. But I was just here alone in my office thinking you were talking about one of the projects, and I was so happy that you would send a comment in about that. So, now, okay, yes, I'm definitely broadcasting now, but that it is just weird. I'm like, all right, here I go, but I actually wasn't live. And I did like a whole 45 minutes worth of talking, and I wasn't even live. So Andrew says, glad you're digging it. You hooked me up with those rabbit toys. I'm hanging on till they come out. I think they have shipped. The new prototypes have shipped. I've got a tracking number. They are coming in, and we will do an unboxing when they come in. I've got the other videos that I used to have on the toy channel that I want to put on this channel. There's a whole, I just thought this was going to happen. That, I've been working on so many projects, and they got jammed up because it's difficult to do projects. I mean, it's difficult to do the kinds of things we're talking about here. And they got jammed up. I got behind on things, the reality of manufacturing, design, all of that. And I just was like, you know what? I bet that what's going to happen is all of a sudden all these things are going to become unjammed at the same time. And it's just going to be like a wild amount of stuff. So that might be what's about happening right now. So stay tuned. I'm going to repost the stuff about like the, what did I call it? The lookbook for the rabbits and the raccoons on this channel. We'll probably look at them on like, I'll probably put those videos up during the morning grind one day, and then I'm going to repost them to this channel, and then we'll do the unboxing when the prototypes come in from the manufacturer. So those are coming. Mike says Zoom is about the closest I've done. Yeah, it's bizarre doing, that's why I'm so glad that all of you are here. Because like when I was thinking about, okay, I want to do a show, okay, what do we do? That's how I perceive this, because somebody in the Discord, the Nose Plays, was asking me like, whatever you call this, the podcast or whatever. I'm just calling it the live stream or the show, really, because I want to be a writer and producer, right? And so I've got like, how do you produce shows? So I've been thinking, I think about these in terms of shows. So I think about this as in terms of a show. So there's Zoom, but yeah, if you're like, you got to do a show and it's just gonna be you sitting here in the house talking to people, like I didn't know what to do because I wanted them to be interactive. And so my perception of interactive was having a guest, which is why I went to do Table Talk, which I think were some fantastic conversations. They're still on the channel. And then also General Geekdom, which was the roundtable show. Going to work on that. That might make a reappearance. But that was, talking with somebody else, talking with other people on the stream. But now, you know who I get to talk to? I get to talk to you guys in the chat. And I didn't have that idea 6 months ago. But you guys ask questions, you have ideas, I can bring that up. So it is interactive. It is interactive. And it's not just me trying to figure out what to talk about because you guys have questions and you guys bring stuff out. Keith says, that's hilarious. Yeah, of course, I felt terrible. I was like, oh my God, I've been sitting here for 45 minutes. Because my mind was like, because I don't see like nobody's watching or whatever, but I was like, I'm going to live stream. So I'm just sitting there, sitting right here talking about whatever, and I'm not even live. But so I verify that now. Like I know what it looks like to be live, so that I don't make that mistake again. Or likewise, if I do make that mistake, I'm watching comments now, so put it in the comments like, Heath, you're supposed to be live. Are you sure you actually have pressed the button? Just let me know, and then I'll make sure we're live. Stray says, I've DM'd digitally, but at least they respond to my shenanigans. That's hilarious, my dude. Yeah. So yeah, when we play RPGs digitally, yes, you do get response there. It's a little bit different from just being alone here. but I love it. Like I said, I don't know how the 30th day stream went, but I was trying to communicate that you guys have helped me so much because you have been here and we have this time together and things like that. The structure, the interactivity has just been amazing. So that's why I want to help make sure that we're helping the community because you guys have helped me so much. Stray says, totally been muted. Players watching me. Yes, mime DMing on the screen. Yes, yeah, that's happened to me too on the like the General Geekdom or something like, well, Heath, you're muted. Go ahead and start. But at least when there were multiple people, they could be like, you're muted, and they're going. So, adventures in online streaming. Right? Let's see. Let me go to my notes here. We're 42 minutes in. I want to talk about other things, but tonight might not be the night. But let me talk about. Okay, so the giveaway video, I showed that. So we're gonna have that going. I've got that. So one thing I did work on briefly today, but I'm not completely ready to talk about or reveal, is that we do need some type of rules for the Discord. So one thing I want to do is look at other people who are running good communities and what type of rules they run by. So we can import those. But I did spend about 20 minutes today, even though I hadn't looked at those things, and was like, now how do I think an online community should run? Because it is my Discord server. So if you have recommendations, we can look at different rules. But then also I was like, what are my ideas for how we should formulate a community, or what kind of rules should we go by on the internet to have a good community? Because my philosophy is that community is better than followers. Because I'm doing my stuff too, so you don't always have to follow me. If we develop a community that's really good, then everybody can be talking to one another. There's a lot of stuff going on. We can share ideas with one another. We can critique one another's ideas if you're trying to develop an RPG or a game like Matt is. Or a web show or a short film or whatever it is that's in the Geekverse. That the community's there to have a conversation about that. So that's what I would prefer to have. But on the other hand, especially as we go, probably a good idea. Right now, we don't have rules of operation. And I see, this is one thing that I don't like, and I just know that it's going to come. But I've been thinking about as well with doing this, because well, like I said, I never envisioned up until a month ago doing live streams like this. And that it's fantastic. There are tremendous advantages to it, but there are also disadvantages to it. And, as you're trying to build a community and things like that. So, I know that here and then in Discord and things like that, because of the way things are developing, that it's just inevitable that there's going to be drama at some point. And I'm very anti-drama. Like, I just don't want drama. Like, this is a place, it's supposed to be a constructive place that, is inclusive and welcoming, that is focused on the Geekverse in general. I'm thinking about changing the name of the channel. I'm going to do that to be something about Heath's Geekverse coming up soon. So, topics in the Geekverse. So a little bit broader than tabletop gaming, but, topics in the Geekverse that, we can get together for creative people. If you're just you don't have to be a creative person. You can still just be a fan, all of that. But it's a constructive place to be. But since we're creating this, it's inevitable that there's going to be some type of drama. And I hope there's not, but it's just inevitable, right? And so it is probably a good idea to think about these things in advance and go, okay, now how do we head that off? How are we going to handle that? So I did spend about 20 or 25 minutes today with an initial sketch without looking at other things, like what kind of rules should we have, or guidelines should we have for the community? So I was kind of thinking about that. I'm going to put that out for discussion, like when I'm ready. I'll put that out for discussion because, like I said, feedback, things might get, it doesn't mean that I have all the answers. People may have some fantastic feedback and things like that. So to come up with some guidelines in advance for the management of the community. So I've been thinking about that. I want that to be probably about time to go ahead and think about that. So I did spend some time thinking about that today. We will continue. Keith, I actually still thought about what the best advice that I've received is, but I'm going to still hold that until I can actually talk about that in great detail. Because since you had ideas about in the business realm, because I was having a real hard time about like what something a family member might have given me. But like, for instance, when I was still a college professor and I was thinking about, well, maybe should I go and do game design and things like that and go off in a completely different direction. One thing that I did was I read a tremendous number of business books. And it might even be what you consider self-help type stuff. I was like, what are people saying over here? So there was like a 2-year period where I like dived into all of that. And I took lots of notes and I took, that in preparation for going and doing something else. Now, of course, in the end, like I'm still growing here. There are a lot of people who went faster than I did. But I actually think that some of the material that I got out of that may be some of the stuff that some of the best advice that I received. Jim Rohn. Anybody follow Jim Rohn? Now, he is sadly passed away now, but Jim Rohn. I've watched many, many lectures by Jim Rohn, and I thought that he has a lot of good information. Because, there's, when you talk about like self-help, I realize that in some regards that has kind of a bad rep, but I mean that in a positive way. Because there's definitely like information like, okay, I'm trying to improve here, trying to work on whatever. Like there is still a lot of tremendous information about how to, improve yourself out there. We got to talk about knighthood as the feminine. I was actually even wondering, do I even want to talk about this topic about Star Trek and feminism? Is still here. I'm going to need to get the clip from that. That clip, I won't talk about that here at the moment, but that clip, I want to talk, or at least potentially talk more about different story structures on the morning grind, because I did have the episode on Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace. And also on the channel, before I was doing live streaming, it was just the videos that I posted. I did do analysis and breakdown of my perception of Return of the Jedi, because as I'm trying to develop stories and things like that and talking to other people about those, we have this theory where story and plot are different. That story is the underlying structure of what needs to happen, but then the plot, what needs to happen from the theoretical level or the archetypical level that we're looking to hit. And then the plot is this physical stuff that happens in the world. And I was using in the videos that I had posted, I believe it was 2 videos. I wanted to go deep into Return of the Jedi, so they're on the channel someplace, where I was saying that the reason we like Return of the Jedi is that its structure, its story does exactly what it should do, what it needs to do. Its story does what it needs to do, even though its plot doesn't make much sense. So it hits all the necessary story beats that it needs to do. It feeds us emotionally what we're supposed to ingest at the right times. Even though if we really look critically at what is happening in individual scenes, do they actually make sense? My analysis was no. But I use that movie therefore as an example that, like, we got the story right, but the plot is weird, and actually doesn't make sense. Probably, therefore, we would be much more critical, I think, if the Return of the Jedi came out, especially given the just constant, YouTube commentary sphere that goes on. Probably, I think that in today's world, Return of the Jedi would be received much more critically than it was. Although people still like it because the story's right, even though the plot is weird. The same thing, another movie that I have that I really like, and as a child, I loved Return of the Jedi. Today, as an adult, I'm critical of it because I see that its plot is not very strong, even though its story is. Its plot is not very strong, and that's why I appreciate the original Star Wars on many, many levels. And then also The Empire Strikes Back. Even though as a kid, I really loved Return of the Jedi. So it's the same kind of thing to me with Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country is one of my favorite Star Trek movies. I love The Undiscovered Country, but it's has a fantastic story structure, even though I think there are even elements of that story that could be done better and actually be more dramatic. But on the whole, it's got a good story structure, even though when you're watching it and trying to analyze its plot and what's happening, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But there also, I remember that movie because my mother, when I was a child, had a commentary on a feminist commentary of that movie that I have never forgotten, of one scene of that movie. And I think it's really interesting to think about in terms of especially the evolution of feminist thought today. Because I remember, like, my mother giving me as a child a major feminist lesson as a result of one of those scenes. So I got to find that. See if I don't know if I'll do it or not. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of, but just, do I want to get into that? But I kind of do, because I just remember that scene being so important. And it was to her to, like, bring that out as a particular lesson. So that has to do with Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. Maybe somebody knows what I'm talking about. Andrew says, no expert, but seems like issue with live streaming is schedules have to match. I miss some streamers because my schedule doesn't fit. It's a lucky mix. Yeah, I mean, that's true. And I think that you have to be regular and at certain times. Like when I originally 7 months ago, when I was like, well, let me try live streaming by myself, and I didn't really even understand, I have any idea about what to talk about. Wasn't on a regular schedule. I tried after that and was like, okay, well, let me try to get people with the table talk and do one-on-one interviews. And I was trying to do that Tuesday and Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. That was the original, or maybe even 8:30 p.m. I don't remember. But but that also wasn't, I don't think, frequent enough to actually build an audience. I have no idea what actually works as far as YouTube and streaming goes, but that was one of the issues. And also, see, that was a problem because I was trying to reach out to people, and in the event that somebody had to cancel or something like that, then there just wasn't a show, because it was supposed to be an interview show. And so if there's nobody to interview, then I don't have a show. And so if there are these gaps, that probably also didn't work as far as streaming goes. So that was a try. That was a valid try on my part, but it didn't quite work. And then also, so when I was doing general geekdom, okay, that was on Sundays. We did that every Sunday, but I had to gather a group of people together every Sunday and once a week might not have been enough either. So now I have this idea for every morning and every night. So that might be better. I don't know. We'll see. I've done 30 days of streaming. I'm committing to another 30 days. So then we'll see how this goes. So that last 30 days was alpha, the alpha of this project. Now we're in beta. So there's probably things that are going to change. Stray says, best advice, still thinking about that too. Yeah, I don't, that's not, to me, that's not something casual. So if you come up with something, Stray, let's put it in, the chat later on when we bring that up, because I'm still thinking about it too. So Access Your Inner Light says, one of the reasons why Babylon 5 is so loved is because of Commander Ivana, who was the second in command throughout most of the series, probably one of the highest ranking female characters in sci-fi. Oh, interesting. I probably should dedicate some time to watch some Babylon 5. I don't know anything about it, but that's not because of anything particularly against Babylon 5. It's just because for some reason I didn't connect with that one when it was coming out and stuff like that. Even though Bruce Boxleitner, you would think I would do that. As a young kid, I thought Bruce Boxleitner, before he, was on Babylon 5, he was like the captain or whatever on Babylon 5, right? But I thought Bruce Boxleitner was really cool as a kid because he was in the show Scarecrow and Mrs. King, and my mother loved that show, and so that show was on quite a bit. So I remember watching Bruce Boxleitner and thinking that he was pretty cool in this the spy show that was on Scarecrow and Mrs. King. Does anybody know that one? Anybody watch that one? And so I knew him as a kid from that. But also, Megan, when we were talking on General Geekdom, she was talking about Captain Janeway. I mean, Captain Janeway was, high. She, held the show. She was the staple of the show. As the captain of the USS Voyager during the Voyager Star Trek show. So she was also a major sci-fi female captain that Megan was talking about. Was so influential on her as a child, watching Captain Janeway as captain of the Voyager. Innerlight says, most people remember Boxleitner from Tron. Probably. I know he was on Babylon 5, but I remember him from that show Scarecrow and Mrs. King. Stray says, there are some phrases that come up that trigger my table to shout, so say we all, from Babylon 5. Okay, so I'm going to have to get into this. I was talking to Brianna. I've got some Star Trek ideas. Because like I said, ideas have been flowing about how to get more done, because that's got to be more productive. That's just me, right? And more efficient. And so Brianna and I were talking about Star Trek stuff, but she doesn't know a whole lot about Star Trek. She was saying, I got to get into Star Trek. So I've got some Star Trek ideas. So I was like, well, I got some ideas to do some stuff from Star Trek or Star Trek fan films or things like that. So maybe Brianna, as our director, needs to dive into Star Trek so that she can direct us. Although she also said that maybe she needs some practice being directed as well. And since she isn't as versed in the Star Trek lore, maybe somebody else should direct us if we do a Star Trek fan film or something like that. And then she could be in it and then also have practice being directed, because she needs that too. So that was also come up, because I was having ideas for some Star Trek fan films to do. There's a lot of cool stuff that could be done, but right now my problem is that everything I'm trying to do takes too long. Like, I'm not moving fast enough. So that's why I'm trying to think of ways to move faster. Inner Light says, I still remember when a NASA engineer came to our school and was explaining how Babylon 5 had the most realistic space technology. Really? Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I have to check that out. I was thinking today about like the differences in like Star Trek technology and our technology. Because when you're watching like the original series or something like that, because I was also watching some of Star Trek Continues. Did anybody watch Star Trek Continues? I was watching some of Star Trek Continues, and it's weird to see that Star Trek dramatically underestimated our computer technology, right? Because the advancement of the computers in Star Trek is below, like even the Next Generation is dramatically below even what we have today. So, but especially in the 1960s when they were establishing what sci-fi was going to be, the computer system on board the Enterprise and the computers that they have available on board the Enterprise, we have much more sophisticated computers today, right? So their perception of the future drastically underestimated computer technology, especially networking. Because like, you know, if Spock and Uhura are working on some kind of problem on the bridge and Uhura needed to look at something Spock was looking at, then Spock actually had to put that data on a disk and then walk over to Uhura and hand her the disk to read that into her computer. They didn't have the idea of like a central processing unit on board the Enterprise or networked computer stations. Like that's just ridiculous. Like we have all that today. We got Dropbox, we got cloud services, we got everything. Like why in the world would on board, a starship 300 years in the future, someone need to put something on a disk in order to get it to somebody 15 feet across, you know, the command station of the most advanced starship in the galaxy, right? Like that's dumb. I mean, we solved that problem today. So when you're looking at Star Trek, the universe is a universe where computer technology is not terribly well advanced within the Federation. Now, they encounter other things like alien races where they have much more advanced computers, and then there's probably some kind of philosophical issue that we're dealing with or something like that. But they have much more advanced physics. See, they thought like in the 1960s that physics would be much more advanced than it would be. So they thought we will have much more advanced physics, but didn't perceive the advancement in computers, when actually the real world has gone, we have much more advanced computer systems than they were imagining at the time. But our understanding of physics is not anywhere near the understanding of physics of Star Trek. And when I'm talking about the understanding of physics, I'm talking about like, how do you create an anti-gravity field? Well, we have no idea, right? Or if we do have some kind of theoretical idea, it's not really, you know, it's possible to actually execute. Or how do you create a warp drive? You know, in Star Trek, the understanding of physics just allows you to do that, but the computer systems are not nearly as advanced. I think it's an interesting kind of world, and especially thinking about world building, to connect this to kind of things we've been talking about in the future or on the morning grind. If you're talking about world building and you're talking about sci-fi world building, and GURPS does have information on this as far as the tech levels that you could say, hey, we've had really advanced, like, not everything has to advance at the same rate or the advance that we had in the real world. What if, computer technology was did not go as far, but physics technology went much further, right? You know, and you could balance all these things out to create new worlds for science fiction worlds, for games or stories or whatever. Stray says, "Oh, good foresight, dude. Thank you. I'm trying to think things out in advance. I think we got a direction." Mike says, "If you need a Klingon, I'll volunteer." All right. Well, you know, I might. This is just talk. This in the evening, there is just talk. So this is just talk. But I'm thinking about because one of our problems here that I think that my team has had is the inability to create stuff as fast as we need to create it. Like if we were going to create, because stuff's got to be high quality, but we also have to have the quantity of stuff. Because like if YouTube is expecting videos every day and stuff like that, then we can't, you know, traditionally for something like The Cultist, we'll spend 6 months trying to do a Cultist show. And that's just not enough to get traction on YouTube and things like that. So when I was thinking about the Star Trek fan films, there's some things I'd like to do in Star Trek, but I don't want them to take forever and a day I want to be able to execute them, get something really cool, do what we're trying to do, put them out for everybody to enjoy, and then move on to the next one. And there was a guy in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm in Alabama. I'm around the Birmingham area, and there was a guy in Birmingham who had built the Starship in his garage and back building. He loved Star Trek, so he did Star Trek fan films, and he had the bridge built in a backyard building so that he could do his fan films with a Starship bridge. He had sick bay in his garage. He had, I think, the captain's quarters also built out in his garage. He had also in one corner of the garage, a Klingon vessel. And then he would, from time to time, have friends over, and they'd sewn costumes and whatever, and then they would shoot Star Trek fan films. I wonder if I can find that. I'm trying to think of what the name of that would be. I don't know if I can find it. But I went there once to tour all of his sets and just see what it was all about and see what he was doing. I'll have to come up with a link because he moved, and so I think he's operating out of like Tennessee now, and he took all of his stuff with him. He took down all of his sets and then rebuilt them up in Tennessee, or it might be Kentucky he moved to, but I think it was Tennessee. He did all of that. I thought that was cool. I never got to actually do they were very low budget Star Trek fan films, but I thought it was cool. I did think it was cool. I wish that I'd had an opportunity to just spend a day and like, hey, let's just do a fan film and do whatever it was that we did. But I say that because when I was talking to my team about just potential ideas, and I was like, if we do a Star Trek fan film, we can't spend 6 months trying to do some kind of epic level Star Trek fan film because that's just not what the world is supporting. But we could do something like the original series Klingons, because instead of having to do all the makeup and things like that, the original series Klingons, they are not that complicated. Those are very simple costumes. And it's like, hey, if we need some Klingons, then rather than trying to do very complex, the forehead prosthetics and all of that, and then all of a sudden you're into something rather complicated, even on the fan level. I was like, what? Idea. We should just try to replicate this on the original series level and do Klingons. If we need Klingons, do them like that. See what happens. Stray says, in Traveler, mail transports faster between planets through warp drive as to bandwidth, so email is kind of outdated. Okay. Mail transports faster between planets through warp drive. Oh, well, yeah, I suppose so. So you're saying that, like, if I'm understanding here, that like writing out a letter and putting it into warp drive gets it there faster than trying to email something. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Innerlight says there are a few very good fan films on YouTube. Yeah, well, and like I said, has anybody watched Star Trek Continues? I was watching some Star Trek Continues the other night, and Paul Chatto spoke with Vic Mignogna, who was the executive producer and played Captain Kirk on Star Trek Continues, to have a discussion about that independent production and how that came about. And then I had commentary on that. I posted commentary on those. I probably need to put those here on this channel. And then I spoke to Paul Chatto after that, which is here on this channel, my interview with Paul Chatto, about using other IP to launch independent film production companies or science fiction or fantasy kind of production companies and things like that. Star Trek Continues was a freaking gigantic and extremely expensive fan production. But Born of Hope, Search for Gollum, a few Star Trek and Star Wars, there are definitely good ones out there. There are definitely good ones. Does anybody follow Fell and Fair? The Fell and the Fair. If you don't follow the Fell and the Fair, primarily on Instagram, probably if you're watching this stream, you will probably like their stuff. The Fell and the Fair. Let me see if I can pull that up to show you what this is. Instagram. He's just been crushing it. Oh, hold on. Gotta go to a different browser. He has been crushing it in the fan kind of production department. Let me do a search here. Come on, Instagram. Fell and Fair. So it's Fell and Fair on Instagram. Does anybody know this? Let me see if I can say present, share screen. Right here. And I've gotten to talk to Zan, who runs this. And I think there's some opportunity for collaboration. There's got to be. But there's all this stuff. He has created so many different costumes, and they create armor. They create fantastic looking armor. They create fantastic looking costumes. So realistic, so real. And then they go out and they do fan films and they take amazing pictures. I mean, look at that. These Rohirrim and stuff like that they're making. Like, I don't, their whole, look at this right here. Still we fight on, holding all the west shores of the Anduin, and those who shelter behind us give us praise, if ever they hear our name, by Tolkien. And like this right here, this is like the dragon helm, right? The dragon helm of Dol Ulur. Oh my God, I can't call it. But the dragon helm of Dol Min, or something like that. The dragon helm. This is actually a fiberglass helmet that they created, and so that's one of the props they've got over there. And then, like, look at this. Look at these costumes and stuff like they do. I mean, I am so jealous. I got to talk to him about several years ago. He probably didn't remember. I was like, all right, how do we about costuming and things like this? They are just crushing it in the design of costume. I mean, look at this picture. So they have all these amazing costumes. They do fan films. They do these amazing pictures for Instagram. I feel like, look at this. My body is broken. I go to my fathers, and even in their mighty company, I shall not be ashamed. Tolkien. That's the death of Theoden's son that they're reenacting right here. I mean, just freaking incredible. I wish I had. To me, they're such an inspiration. I wish that we had this. I wish I had this kind of capability. We didn't grow fast enough. But follow them, Fell and Fair, because maybe one day we'll be able to collaborate on something like that. Because there have been some great ones. But on the other hand, even though I would totally do a Star Trek fan film, there's also original IP and things like that to develop. Access Your Inner Light says there was a Joker origin film that I loved. Really? That's interesting. I want to do some Joker. I'd like to do some Joker. Mike says that's my uniform. They used boot polish for the background characters. Okay. Cool. So that's kind of what I was thinking about. We'll get into other, I guess, heavier topics later, but that's what I was thinking about. If you're on the Discord channel, did I post a Discord link here? Post a Discord link. I think I did. I'll post a Discord link one more time. I'm going to put out an announcement about the Christmas giveaway. So if people need something, we can help everybody out in the community, or if you know somebody needs help, you can get somebody help from there. And then also, I will be posting at least some information soon about some kind of Discord rules, just so I can get ahead of the curve in case there's some kind of something that comes up in the future. We can handle that. Keith asks, have you watched the Mythica films? No, I have not. I don't know anything about that. They were all Kickstarter funded. Interesting. I am interested in film or web series, film in this case, film success on Kickstarter, because that's a very difficult genre to crowdfund. So we will see. I will check those out though. Let me go and make a note of that. Mythica Films on Kickstarter. I will check them out and see what they are. Well, all right. I think I am just about to wrap up here. I hope everyone has a fantastic night. Seems like we had a great day today. Seems like on the whole, this was a great day across the community. So that's fantastic. I'm going to try to improve tomorrow, get more stuff done. Try to make great stuff. Got to make stuff. Got to make stuff. Got to make stuff exist. But thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Thank you so much. It means so much to me that there are people here who are part of the community and here on the live streams and chatting, talking back and forth. I absolutely love it. I love it. I have such a good time. It makes my day. It really does. It really does. So I hope that all this is helping you. Let's go ahead and conquer the Geekverse. I'm going to leave you with Goodnight Sword, like we always do on the wind down. And
Goodnight Sword.
I hear it.
Written by
and we will be
E.H.
out of here.
Robinson.
And I will see you for
Illustrated
the
by Adam M.
morning grind tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow morning we'll be
Narrated
looking at the
by
Darkest
Brianna
Dungeon.
De Silva.
Darkest Dungeon board game.
Part of
I
the
just got that
tales
in, so
of
we're doing another
Ravagate.
unboxing tomorrow. Darkest Dungeon unboxing tomorrow. See you in the morning.
Goodnight Sword. Goodnight Gourd. Goodnight guards who keep us all safe. Goodnight dagger. And the iron hauberk. Goodnight cheese. Goodnight keys. Goodnight elm. And goodnight helm. Goodnight squire. And goodnight liar. Goodnight shield. And good night to the lance only the gallant wield. Good night banner. And good night jewel. Good night gruel. Good night knights. And good night to the old soldier who says time's been cruel. Good night, maiden fair, whose favor I bear. Good night, rabbits everywhere.